Welcome everybody to your week, your favorite part of your week. It's the Barreto Boys here. I'm Podcast Poppy. This is Stephen Barreto. This is your Speak On It Sunday weekly recap of the NFL slate. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing fine.
Because
Perfect.
it was this Sunday night game that we just watched. Because we'll do everybody a favor. We'll recap what we just watched. As it is the game in our most recent memory. It's the last thing we saw. And boy, was it dog shit.
Not surprised.
So Cowboys fans who are delusional would be very surprised about that. I'm surprised about that. I'm surprised because I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Right? I did not think it was going to be this bad. Everybody on the Dallas side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, all looked like dog shit. It was bad. It was one of the worst games of football I've seen. I think it really solidifies that San Fran is the team in the NFL on both sides of the ball. They made the Dallas Cowboy defense look like they just couldn't hang. George Kittle was fighting with Micah Parsons a lot this game, and Micah Parsons was a non-factor, complete non-factor. And it was just absolutely unbelievable. There's going to be Cowboy fans who are going to be shocked at this outcome. There's going to be the Cowboy fans like Steven who aren't shocked at this, but it was one of the worst games I've seen. See you, Steven. Nice knowing you. Dak Prescott played some of the worst football I've seen this season. It's that thing where everybody's like, oh, this is the Dak Prescott we know and love. In parts, this is the Dak Prescott we know and love. There was the great Dak Prescott that you get the first 3-4 weeks of the year outside of the Cardinals game where Dak didn't really have his offensive line with him. And then you have this game where the Niners were just relentless, absolutely relentless. Like, so here we have total team stats here: 421 total yards to 197, 251 to 140, 170 to 57, averaging just under 6.5 yards per play versus 25 first downs, third down efficiency, fourth down efficiency was the same. Total plays 67, 4 sacks allowed. It's just an absolute shit show, and completely dominated in the time of possession here. This is not a good look. As somebody who is a Cowboy truther, changed my mind once I saw the injuries to this team. Because if you pay attention to the pod, you know that I did pick the Jets and the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. Jets obviously got hit with a catastrophic injury to Aaron Rodgers. And once I saw Trayvon Diggs went down for the Cowboys, it was a wrap because I think you needed Diggs and Gilmore on the field to really put a dent into somebody like San Fran. And this is going to be first time for everybody hearing me this. I'm apologizing to Brock Purdy. I've needed to see Brock Purdy do what he has been doing against a legit football team, and he did exactly that. I'm not going to say I'm a believer of Brock Purdy, but I will give Brock Purdy the credit that he is due because he is a lot better than I thought he was. So I could use my Shanahan offense, all pro offensive line, all pro wide receivers, incredible defense as an excuse all I want, but ultimately you cannot deny it anymore. I'm not going to say he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, but he is a lot better than I thought. So kudos to you, Brock Purdy, because man, there was too many plays where there was no pass rush. Brock Purdy was able to drop it in 15, 20 yards, just in between zones, progressing through his reads. Can't deny it. You really can't. Shout out to the Niners. McCaffrey had a game. George Kittle, no, it's not even McCaffrey had a game. McCaffrey had an average game at best. George Kittle with 3 touchdowns. If you were facing George Kittle in fantasy, I am sorry. I am so sorry for you because this is horrendous. That would be enough to make me like punch my wall if I had to go against George Kittle. But it was just an absolute bloodbath. It didn't end at all. Where it's like, even after it was like 28-7, Dak comes out immediately in the interception. It's like, holy shit. Like anything that it was Newton's law or Murphy's law. I'm sorry. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And we all the teams we root for have one of these games. And man, you hate to have it on a national stage like Sunday Night Football. Hate to see it. But there he is. He's back. Sir.
Connection problems. Internet crash. Your dad did something.
Your dad. Absolute shit show. Absolute bloodbath. George Kittle with 3 touchdowns. I gave Brock Purdy an apology. He's not as bad as I thought he was. And I needed to see Brock Purdy do what he's been doing against a team like the Cowboys. And boy, did he do it. So shout out to him.
Quarterback when everybody's wide open.
That's what I'm saying. No pressure. He got to progress through his reads really well. He was dotting you guys up from 15 to 20. He was dotting you up everywhere. It's not even the Christian McCaffrey catches or the Debo catches that are like 3 yards that go 15. These are the Ayuk catches that are 15 to 20. The Debos that are 18. Like everybody's wide open. He's popping it in the middle of the in between zones. Like
everybody's wide open.
He was doing everything that you could have asked.
Soft.
He did everything that you could have asked as a quarterback. And it's like, you know what? I let me hop off the Purdy hate train for a little bit.
If you want to know when the Cowboys are going to get their ass whooped, it's the same formula that happens every time. The defense gives up the touchdown first. Offense goes 3 and out immediately. They're getting their ass whooped. I've seen it every time. It always happens. It's the same way. The same way. They're a soft team. Their defense is soft. You could be physical with them.
I was very confused by a lot of the play calling.
Play calling was bad on both sides.
Terrible. Like I don't understand McCarthy sometimes, where San Fran knows you're trying to go quick, get the ball out. Why are you just continuously running slants?
They knew the play.
Short routes.
They knew the plays. They knew what it was calling.
You would think that, like, it seems like every time a player asks for inside information on a team, that, like, it's just wrong. And there's a reason Trey Lance isn't on this Niners team anymore. So whatever information he gave on the Niners was just wrong. Just wrong.
What are they going to ask him? He didn't know the offense. This is why he was not on the team no more.
Yeah, he didn't know the offense because 42 points later,
wide receivers could not get separation at all. CeeDee Lamb,
non-existent.
Got to show up in these games. Unexcusable.
Like there was so much left on the table for the Cowboys offense, and it seems like, again, I said it was Murphy's law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And after you had that fumble on your side of the field on like the 10 or the 15 or whatever the fuck it was, everything just went to shit because they go to score. You guys get the ball back. 3 plays later, it's an interception.
No, the interceptions happen late.
A couple of them. The first one happened like right after the fumble.
Whoa. No,
because there was 2 interceptions that happened late. There was the first interception.
Fumble in the first quarter.
The fumble in the first quarter, and then there was an interception in the second quarter because they scored. The first quarter ended, and then second quarter happened. 2 plays later, he threw a pick to Fred Warner.
No, that was later. That was in third quarter.
Then I'm missing who the interception was too. It was somebody, but it was just I was just so confused where it's like there was very little separation on that slant, and it's like we forced it in there, and it was the same old Dak Prescott that everybody loves to see when he plays bad and ignores like when Dak Prescott's really good. But these are some shitty interceptions, some shitty play all around.
It's always deflect. There's always some deflection.
The problem is when Dak is bad, Dak is horrid.
And then when he's good, he's really good. He's very consistent.
It's crazy. Like you could never get just like, all right, he made one mistake here and then like he was good the rest of the time. It's always like, hey, once that first mistake comes, it is a flood.
It's like I want to know what happened. Okay, that the drive they scored, it was like 14. Was it 14? Where they scored a touchdown, 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened in the play calling? Like that drive was perfect. And another thing that happens is Dallas is the only team that when they commit a penalty, they can never recover. They can never recover from a penalty. San Francisco got a holding penalty, 3rd and 15. Wide open wide receivers. Everybody, domination. The Cowboys are soft until they beat the 49ers. This is what I was saying last week. Until they do it, I don't believe. That's why I picked the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, to be fair, I had the Cowboys before they lost like a top 10 corner.
Yes, the Trayvon Diggs thing doesn't fucking help. But
Trayvon Diggs doesn't help. Losing Biotish doesn't help. Playing with a banged up line doesn't help. But there's a lot of shit that, like, even if those guys were there, the way this game was played, it really wouldn't have made a difference. Like, yeah, your defense gets to be called a little bit differently because you could play a little bit more single high. You could sit there and actually like apply a little bit more pressure because you don't have to really worry too much about Ayuk getting open or Debo doing all that stuff because you could have them all covered. But
what I said, send guys at Micah Parsons. He wants to get to that next level. He's got to impact. He's got to do what TJ Watt does, what Nick Bosa does. He's got to impact the game other ways besides trying to get sacks. So they're going to throw guys at you. This is the blueprint on how to get rid of Michael Parsons. Fullback.
TJ Watt has his games where he disappears too. It's just when the games when the lights are on, TJ is there and he's always there. But there's a few games where he just disappears. It's never Baltimore. He never disappears in Baltimore. And he never disappears in Cincinnati. But those are the games he's always going to be there. But Micah Parsons just, I don't really know where he could have played today that would have been an impact.
No,
they were accounting for him
at him. Wherever he's at, you're getting a bunch of guys coming at you.
Yeah, the bully got bullied. That's what it was. Micah Parsons is usually one wreaking hell, and they were like, "Hey, you got a willing tight end who is sitting there trying to fight back. You got Juszczyk who's trying to fight back. Trent Williams who's trying to fight."
How do you stop a speed team? Power.
Yep,
power.
And this Niners team is a power team.
This is a soft Dallas defense. They're all finesse. That's what I said last week. Finesse. Power takes over the finesse.
It was one of the more dominant performances I've seen. And what makes it even worse is it is against a team like the Cowboys that is really fucking good. Like, regardless of how this game ended up, this Dallas team is a good football team. But for San Fran to beat up on a good football team and probably the second or third best team in the NFC,
every quarterback looks bad. And guess who's gonna get all the fucking thing headed his way? Regardless, they were already getting their ass whooped before he had any turnovers. And this is what happens.
No, it's true. They were down what?
You're gonna throw the ball. You're gonna throw.
They were down 28-10. Like, you're already down.
Every quarterback that's down this big is gonna throw a bunch of interceptions.
Yeah, because you got it. Well, his first one was bad. That's the one. It's like, yeah, his first interception was bad. But the other ones were just like, you got to make something out of nothing.
The one that got picked off by Gibson because he had the Hafunga coming.
Funk is a bad motherfucker. Funk is a bad motherfucker, man. This whole Niners defense is crazy. That's just the end of the long and short of it.
So Javon Hargrave, I'm like, look at Javon Hargrave.
Like everybody on this team is just so fucking good.
Javon
Hargrave, Javon Kinlaw, Nick Bosa, homeboy on the corner. There's Hufanga, Fred Warner. Like this defense is stacked. And let's take a look at their schedule. Because where do you the only team that I think can actually beat this team now that they just ran through you guys is Philly. There's a real potential here that we run into another situation where it's like this team may not lose a game because of how fucking good they are.
If Baker still got
it's a toss up for me too to even acknowledge it.
If Baker, I think Sean McVay when he went to McVay last year,
they play well because it's the little brother syndrome.
When Baker Mayfield got picked up by the Rams last year, I think McVay restored his mojo.
Yeah,
he lost his mojo.
Yeah, even you could see it in everything Baker does. When I saw Baker on McAfee, he was carrying himself a little bit differently than he has in past interviews. He kind of just seems like he's a little bit of an adult now, as opposed to that college kid who just came into a bunch of money from playing in the NFL. He doesn't have a bunch of that douchebag in him anymore, but he's got the juice again. And it's cool to see because now he's really feeling himself and he's got a good team around him. This game is going to be interesting. If it's anything like that Eagles game, it's going to be tough, which it will be because they're both defenses are going to try to punch you in the mouth. And Bowles is going to try to do everything he can to take those reads away.
Bowles
is the problem is they're going to be the tone center for the rest of the league and the playoffs as to how to play them.
They do also have to face the AFC North, so
I don't see an AFC North beating them.
It can happen. It
can happen. Like this game right here, I expect Joe Burrow to die in this game.
Well, Joe Burrow,
he got a good confidence boost today.
Joe Burrow looked like he got done with training camp.
He got a confidence boost today, but I see Joe Burrow dying here. This offensive line won't hold up here. That's a death game. This game could be a fight, depending. Right?
No, that's physical enough on defense. That's the
problem. What I'm saying. It depends.
Their offense can, but their defense is the problem.
This game will be a dogfight because they will try. Both these teams will try to physical it out and fight.
Yeah, but the only problem is Philly's corners.
Philly's corners been getting cooked.
Ayuk, Debo, and Kittle will eat these freaking corners.
But if the Eagles' offensive line holds up against their front, it could be a long game. But who knows? I thought Philly, if Purdy didn't get hurt last year, I thought San Fran was going to run through this team. So
yeah, any quarterback, even Josh Johnson when it does, they just ran out. They ran out of quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, that's all it is. Now they have that extra quarterback rule to prevent that from happening. Because when they had to put a fucking helmet on McCaffrey that had a fucking headset in it, I was like, oh boy.
Basically, had to play a half without a quarterback.
And then when you put Brock Purdy back in, you knew he wasn't throwing. So it's like, well, shit. And then the Ravens, I think, could give a fight. That's just off the back of Lamar willing them. I think they'll give a fight. And if their defense is healthy by this point. If the Ravens' defense is healthy by this point, things could be very, very interesting. Because right now, in the AFC, the whole AFC is now in flux because teams are losing games. The good teams are losing games. Even like today, the Ravens lost. Like this whole AFC is now in flux where it's like, Oh, you mean the AFC East is still in play for the Jets? That's crazy. If the Jets can play decent football, there's a chance. But let's see what we got. Let's head over across the pond. Actually, no. Let's hit Thursday Night Football. Bears Commanders.
It's like Justin Fields played against the Broncos the week before and got great confidence, and then 3 days later, their offense coordinator figured out, you know what, he's hot right now. We have DJ Moore on the team.
Justin Fields coming into this Sunday was tied for first with touchdowns on the year after 2 games.
Here's the theme of this week. Every NFL game, we have guys on our team. Let's get them the ball.
Get to the ball, and if you have the Broncos in front of you and you're struggling, you're good. You'll be fine.
Somebody has a guy on their team. Let's get him involved. Started with Thursday. The Bears. Oh, we have DJ Moore. Justin Fields. Throw the ball to DJ Moore. And it should be more. It should be 47 because I don't know what's wrong with it. How DJ Moore didn't even go out of bounds. And then the worst part about it, they don't even show the replay of it.
They didn't. They just ruled him out of bounds. And I'm like, I don't think he stepped out of bounds. It's exactly that. It's, hey, you got guys on your team, go get the ball. We got DJ Moore getting the ball. What's his face? Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson need to get the ball.
And that second place Commanders.
Yeah, Anthony, that second place Commanders team. Right.
That's who the Commanders play.
You can't lose. You can't lose to the Bears.
Yeah,
that's a team you can't lose to. You can't lose to the Bears. You can't lose to the Giants. You can't lose to the Cardinals, and you can't lose to the Broncos. Those are the 4 teams you can't lose to. Because shit, that's if you lose to any of those teams, it's a problem. Because those are some bad football teams.
Ran out of running backs, so they're like, oh,
they had to use their fucking fullback.
Justin Fields has moments. It's the offense is all right. We get DJ Moore involved. Let's see what else we can do. What does he like to do? What does he like to do?
The Bears could go on a stretch of winning some games here. You're playing nothing but bad defenses.
Justin Fields. Everybody can do all 180 on Justin Fields now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's playing good. Yeah.
He's playing nothing but terrible defenses going forward. Like Vikings, Raiders, Chargers, Saints are a good defense. Panthers, Lions, Vikings, Lions. Like there's a real stretch here where it's like, okay, outside of the Browns and the Packers,
they could go on a winning streak and still have the first pick of the draft.
because the fucking Panthers. So if they go on this winning streak, they have to take Marvin, right?
Yeah, I would
have to take Marvin.
Have to trade back and take Marvin.
I wouldn't trade back. It depends on who's trying to get up.
If you got the first pick of the draft.
If you got the first pick of the draft, depends on who this team, the second or third. Like, if you're trying to trade up from like 10, I'm not looking. I'm not even trying. Well,
here's the thing: he could get Marvin or a Mecca. Anyone Ohio State wide receivers.
Yeah, but you want Marv.
Yeah,
you want Marv. That's the guy.
You're not going to take him with the first pick overall.
You might.
You hold some. You call number 2, and you say, "Hey."
You call 2 and 3, and you see what they want to give up. If somebody's trying to trade up from like 10, I'm not answering the phone.
Be like, I'm picking this motherfucker right here.
That's the only thing. If 2 and 3 are really trying to trade up to get it in front of somebody, you do it.
2, 3, 4.
If anybody past like 4 calls you, just hang up the phone. There's no point because you're going to be taking yourself out of getting like the prospect.
This is a quarterback draft. So teams that need quarterbacks.
Unless instead of getting Marvin, you're getting a proven wide receiver.
Well,
Like,
the number.
like what if Denver calls you and is like, hey, Jerry Jeudy, our first.
No, I'm taking Marvin Harrison because
Yeah.
I already DJ Moore. Well,
Yeah.
I take Marvin Harrison.
Apparently the Broncos are selling everything.
Yeah, they have to.
They're on the process of selling everything. They're taking phone calls on everybody.
They're not
We'll
going to
get
be.
there. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm skipping ahead. We'll get there. Let's follow the rubric that's in front of us. Bears win 40-20. Let's go across the pond, 25-20. This game was awesome.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence is fucking good, man. He is good at fucking football.
Top 10 quarterback, people.
Trevor Lawrence is good at football. Josh Allen was playing like shit until the fourth quarter.
Following the theme of the week, we have guys. Let's get him the ball.
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne.
Calvin Ridley.
They were throwing to Travis Etienne, which I called for last week. Plus, they stayed in London. Always the team traveling to London is going to be some little regression there.
Yeah. And they play there again next week, right?
No, I don't think so. Jacksonville's done with London. They played back-to-back London.
Oh, yep, they did. Yep.
Yeah, they were in London.
Jacksonville always plays good in London. That's their second home.
They were already in London the week before, so they stayed. So they didn't have to deal with the travel. Travel fatigue is a thing too.
Yeah.
So you got to travel the most. You tend to look at those like teams that lose and how much they're traveling, and it's usually teams that's like getting travels and no resting, or usually like the bad teams.
When Josh Allen has faced Josh Allen, they have lost a bunch. It's something Josh Allen, the Jaguars, does not like being referred to as the other Josh Allen.
The Jaguars own the Bills for some reason. They just do. But they can beat Bills defense is designed to stop offenses.
But the Bills defense is also just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
They are getting decimated by injuries. Like Matt Milano's leg.
Done for the
He's
year.
done for the year. You lose one of the best
Even
linebackers in football.
They couldn't stop the run. Travis Etienne.
You lose one of the best linebackers in football. You lose one of the best corners in football. You get Von Miller back, but Von Miller was on a pitch count, and like there's only so much you could do there. This Jags team last year, when they came back from London, they went on their run to get them to the playoffs. And right now, as they lead the AFC South at 3-2,
place next week against the Colts.
The Colts,
Jacksonville, where the Colts haven't won
in
like 9-10 years in Jacksonville.
I love in the interdivision like rock paper scissors, where it's like the Texans beat the Jaguars beat the Colts beat the Titans, and so on and so forth.
I knew that was going to happen today. That's why I picked them.
I also picked them. It's the same thing in the AFC East. The Jets beat the Patriots. Patriots beat the Jets. Jets beat the Bills. Nice. Circle of life. But this was a game. Jaguars score with like a minute and like 40-something seconds left. Bills get the ball, drive down the field, immediately touchdown. It was like, Jesus Christ. And it's like right after I said, I was like, man, Josh Allen's not playing well. He came out, was like, hold my beer. Let me go and show why I'm one of the better quarterbacks in football. And he played himself a game. The problem is you fuck up, when Josh Allen fucks up, he fucks up. And that interception he had was massive. It just he's lucky that it didn't turn into that snowball effect that usually happens when he turns over the ball. Just like Dak. But Josh Allen gets forgiven a lot, where Dak gets chastised because he's a Cowboy. It's really what it is. My favorite game of the week.
Woo.
Saints 34, Patriots 0. This Patriots team sucks. And I'm glad we're here again, like we were last week.
The theme of the week. Get your guys the ball. Mac Jones was getting his guys on the Saints the ball.
Yeah. He was so bad. Like, every Patriot fan that was on Twitter was just roasting Mac Jones. And here I am, like the guy that I am in our group chat where Anthony's talking about how good this Patriots team is all off season, where I'm just like, listen, let's be real here. McCorkle's not good. Bill O'Brien has never been good. Like, nobody on offense is explosive. What are we doing?
Lions started the Chiefs dynasty. Remember that. They were up however many was in Kansas City with Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Then he blew it.
They were up to like 21 to fucking 3 at halftime and blew it.
And he went for like a fake. He went for a fake punt, and it all went downhill from there. Bill O'Brien wasn't. It's never been good.
Never been good. He had the 1 year with Watson that year, and then he had Brady.
The offense played better last year with nobody that's never called offense before.
I should have listened to Anthony when he said Bill O'Brien will be a difference maker, because instead of running the football with Ramondre Stevenson more than 8 times, we let Mac Jones throw for 4 times more than we run. I don't get it. And it's not even because you guys are losing, right? This is how it is when you guys are in games. Your bread and butter is running the fucking football. We saw it last year. Ramondre Stevenson was awesome last year. Zeke would be doing much better in last year's offense here. Now you get better production out of your running back, so you open up the game for McCorkle a little bit more because of play action. You guys cannot establish the run. Because the guy calling your plays doesn't know how to run the football. He's the only Alabama offensive coordinator in a fucking decade who hasn't won a fucking national championship with the Bugattis that he had. Like, why are we acting like when Bill O'Brien got hired, everybody was like, oh my God, that's a great hire? It's not. It's a great hire when you have Tom, because Tom is your offense. It doesn't matter. There's a reason why Tom Brady was able to take everything that he did, transfer it to Tampa right away, because he is the offense.
And let's get it out the way. Bill Belichick has been a bad coach the past 4 years.
Like, this is...
We're living off this past of Bill Belichick. Oh, it's Belichick. It's Belichick. No, it's not going to correct itself. It is what it is. You can't get free agents to come there. They don't want to play for this asshole. And then he always... Do I have to pull out the list of all the wide receivers that he's passed on in these drafts?
It's not even that he's passing on these wide receivers. It's the system doesn't work without 12.
Tom Brady is the only one that made that system work. Everybody else that's tried has failed.
Everybody fails but 12.
Tom Brady,
and the Patriot way doesn't exist.
There's no
Patriot way is 12. Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick hate each other. And if this team goes into, because right now, Patriots are one of those teams where you're not supposed to, like, let's add them to my team of teams you can't lose to because of how bad they are. If the Jets play this team the next time we go through and we lose, that's fucking horrid. But that's also the AFC East circle of life where it's just like, shit happens. That's just daddy.
Antsy. Kraft wants free agents to come here. He's getting tired of Bill Belichick being an asshole. And guess what? Bill Belichick's probably going to coach another team. Maybe I don't know why. At some point, Kraft was like, I think it's done. We had a good run. I want to start something fresh. You got to start something fresh. It's the same.
1-4 is bad. 1-4 is very bad. This is like, hey, we just passed the first quarter of the season. We have the worst offense in football. The worst offense in football.
The Giants have outscored the Patriots. With 2 home games combined with a score of 3 points.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. And do you think Kraft fires Belichick or does Belichick resign? Because I don't think Kraft would outwardly be like, "Oh, we parted ways." I think Bill Belichick will just resign, or they'll word it as he resigns.
Or he comes out, fires him like, "Hey, listen, it depends how worse it gets. Because the schedule only gets tougher.
If they finish with like 4 wins,
they still have to face Buffalo twice. They got another game against Miami.
I do think they could beat the Raiders.
Ooh. Oh,
that's one of those games. I think they could beat the Raiders. I think they could beat the Giants.
Giants. Yeah.
I think they could beat the Giants because Bill Belichick likes to fuck with younger quarterbacks.
Well, Chargers. The Chargers. Belichick owns Herbert for some reason. We'll see.
Younger quarterback.
The Chiefs. Steelers.
The Broncos game, we could chalk that up for a W already. Mac Jones probably going to throw for 350 here.
Quarterback by then.
It'll be Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi, you can't just keep benching Mac Jones when you're losing by 30. and like really expect your fan base to get behind he's your guy.
Yeah, Bill can't be like, he's my guy. And if Bill hates him, Kraft doesn't like him. So we know.
He's a dickhead.
We know where this goes for Mac. Dirty play.
Mac is a very bad spot. He has, who do they play next week? The Raiders. If they lose to the Raiders, blow it up. Blow it up. I don't want to say the Raiders are one of those teams you can't lose to, but like, blow it up. That defense, you have to be able to put points up against the Raider defense.
Yeah, they can't put points up against the Raiders defense. It's time you have to go for a change.
If you go through halftime and you still have a goose egg or you have 3 up on the board, Mac can't come out. McCorkle can't be the quarterback. The team's not going to get behind him anymore. Like, you have to turn to Zappi. That's really your only choice here. And then you'll have the fan base rejuvenated again because, like, listen.
Or either they go to Zappi or they elevate Cunningham from the practice squad.
I think if they bench Mac, I think the only move you can make is that, because you can't allow Mac to be your backup, can you?
Belichick loved that guy in preseason, and he's on the practice squad.
Because he was willing to do whatever it took. Belichick loves those guys. All those guys who are willing to put in the work and grind, Bill loves. That's why Edelman lasted forever. Edelman was one of those guys who was willing to do whatever the fuck he needed to do. You need me to play wide receiver? Sure, fine. You need me to go do wildcat quarterback? Sure, fine. You want me to go throw this ball deep to this fucking guy? Sure, fine. I'll do it all. You need me to block? Yeah, whatever. Like, I'll do whatever the fuck you need me to do. It's just, I'm glad it's happening. I just want everybody to know that I was right, and I was always right. I'm not just a Patriot hater. I'm not a hater of the teams in my division. I acknowledge when teams are good in my division. Like, said the Dolphins were going to be good. Said the Bills were going to be good. I acknowledge that this Patriots team is fucking ass. We can move on.
Better. What did they get better at?
They got worse across the board. I don't know.
The offensive coordinator was an upgrade because it's looking like a downgrade. You've scored 3 points in the last.
Go get your special team coordinator and your old defensive coordinator to start calling offensive plays again. They'll bench Mac. They had no problem benching Mac. They had no problem being like, yo, he's got to fucking go. The Bears game last year is the perfect example. Mac came out fucking cold, and they're like, put Zappi in now. Titans Colts. Last week in our group chat, I said, and Mike was sitting there in the group chat after they beat the Bengals, and I immediately follow up his win with the Bengals because he's trying to gloat that they beat my guy Joe Burrow, whatever. I said, LOL, y'all better not lose to the Colts. Y'all can't lose to the Colts. And they lost to the Colts. The Titans fired their offensive coordinator last year, and I think they should fire this one too. I said that to Mike as my only critique because I know how much Mike hates the Colts. So I didn't want to lay into him too bad because I already know he was punching air and just being the worst after losing this game to a team he hates more than anything. But I was like, you need to fire this guy because Derrick Henry. Oh, no,
Travis Kelce.
You don't want that.
Wow, you're Brian Halsey.
No ads. What are we doing? Henry. Carries.
13.
Fireable offense.
Yes.
Derrick Henry should have 25 carries a game.
Tannehill is not successful unless the fucking running game is working. So are you going to come out? Are you going to start giving this motherfucker the ball? Or are you just going to come out and say he's getting too old? Which one is it? We need to know because last week he looked like the old Derrick Henry, and now we're back to like I think the 30 thing is coming. So
Tannehill didn't play bad outside of that interception. It's just the offense was so like anemic. They couldn't get drives going. And when they extended drives, eventually it ended up in the punt or a field goal. Like it was just a very confusing game where the Colts were out tightening you. That's really what it was. The Colts were out tightening you,
running all over you.
Yeah, Zach Moss, 23 carries. That's what Derrick Henry needs to be doing. So somebody go call the offensive coordinator of the Titans and be like, hey, hi, first time, long time. You need to hand the fucking football off. When's Mike Vrabel going to be like, hand the fucking football off? Because if this Titans team doesn't run the football, they're going to lose games.
He's out. He's out.
He's going to be fired.
He's going to be fired, and so is Tannehill. And so
his contract's up after this year anyway. Like, I think this is just giving the new GM like every bit of reason he had to try to shop all these guys. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. If you don't run the football, you're not going to win games.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Like, you tried to get younger. You tried to trade Derrick Henry on the last year of his contract. You tried to trade, like, you looked into getting rid of Ryan Tannehill on the last year of his contract. You try to get rid of Kevin Byard with 2 years left on his contract. Like, you're trying to get younger. You cut Taylor Lewan and you get rid of 3 other offensive linemen. You have a new offensive line. You have a new offensive coordinator. Your offense last year struggled because you didn't have a quarterback and your wide receivers didn't get open. You went and got DeAndre Hopkins, who had a very good game.
And right? the one thing they're known for they didn't do today, stop the run.
Yeah, they just got out tightened. That's really it. That's the one thing I'm going to keep saying is they got out tightened because the Colts came out there and tried to punch them in the mouth, and they did.
Well, they punched them.
They punched them, and they punched them hard, and then Uncle Rico came in and finished off the game.
They punched. Now, this is a reoccurring thing with the Colts with Anthony Richardson. He needs to quit playing like Cam Newton before he ends up like Cam Newton.
I said this to the group chat. I was like, I know, Mike, you don't care about the Colts, but Anthony Richardson needs to start worrying about his body and his health because he has gotten hurt every game he's played except for one, I think. So, like, when does the coaching staff come into him and be like, hey, fucking stop?
It was also the coach calling the running plays.
Running quarterback power is cool and stuff, but, like, Anthony Richardson's really trying to run these motherfuckers over. He landed hard on his shoulder. I think he's got an AC joint injury.
Yes.
AC joint shoulder. He could miss time. And luckily for them, Gardner Minshew is very serviceable. And who do the Colts have next week?
The Jags.
Minshew wants that bad blood. He wants that smoke. Minshew wants that revenge. So we'll see. But if they want Anthony Richardson to succeed, he needs to be on the field.
Yeah.
So maybe let's call less quarterback powers and try to dial some stuff up with Jonathan Taylor. Or pull the Lamar route and be evasive. And don't drop your shoulder.
He was still taking hits, and he still was missing time at the end of the past 2 years. So,
yep.
When you run with your quarterback, you know the consequences if he gets hurt.
Yep. At least they have a good backup. Steelers 17, Ravens 10. There was a video clip of the touchdown to George Pickens where Matt Canada is in the booth. He's the only one not acting like celebrating because he didn't call the play.
He didn't call the play. Kenny Pickett audibled.
You need to fucking fire him.
So, you know what that means. Your quarterback is calling better plays than your fucking offensive coordinator.
Fire him. Like
he saw zero blitz, and he knew he had. And George Pickens beat Marlon Humphrey, by the way.
He cleaned Marlon Humphrey. Marlon didn't stand a chance on that island.
Oh, look. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-2.
I think the whole division's 3-2.
Yeah, well, the Browns are on the bye. I think the Browns. What's the Browns' record?
I think they are. Let's see, where are the Browns?
The Ravens. So.
Nope, that's last year. Hold on. What's the Browns' record?
Oh, the Steelers are sitting in first place.
So 1,
because
2.
The Steelers
2-2.
The 2-2. The Steelers beat the Browns and the Ravens, so the Steelers are in first place in the AFC North. My playoff league. Everyone looking at me funny for picking the Steelers. Can they motherfucking pick it?
Hey, I said the Steelers team was winning 9 games. So
gonna sneak into the playoffs.
I said the Steelers were gonna win 9 games, and it's still looking good. It looks like this division's just gonna beat each other up.
Beat the shit out of each other.
They're gonna beat the shit out of each other and then try to figure out who they gotta beat.
And they take it out on the NFC opponent. They play the NFC West. Steelers already played the 49ers, so that one's out of the way.
They don't gotta worry about it.
They have wins over the Browns and Ravens.
Face
the Bengals. Did they face the Bengals yet? No, they haven't.
The Steelers.
Who are the 3 wins? Are there 3 wins? Divisional wins?
Browns, Raiders.
Oh, they beat the Raiders.
Ravens. The problem is the Steelers team is too inconsistent. Not even on offense, on defense. The Steelers team is so inconsistent on defense where non-factor against Houston.
Well, in the Ravens' defense, 7 drop passes by their wide receivers.
Nelson Aguilar strikes again.
We know he's a meme. Everybody's out there catching everything. We're catching babies, everybody except Aguilar.
Lamar threw a horrible pass to Odell Beckham.
Yes.
That pass was fucking terrible.
That pass was terrible, but Odell got bullied.
Yes, he did.
Porter Jr. And did you hear the trash talk you said to him?
Didn't I send that to the chat? Where he said Joey Porter hits him with the time for you to go be a family man.
Yeah. But there was some dimes that Lamar threw that were dropped. Seven drops. Can't happen. Aguilar had like 3 drops. Zay Flowers had a drop. Bateman had a drop touchdown. Bateman had another drop.
Bateman sucks. Bateman's not good at football. He was supposed to be like a really good pick when they took him, and I thought he was a really good pick. He just needed to stay on the field. He just isn't good.
Then he got hurt for the season.
Yeah, he's just not very good at football. I wish he was better. I really wish he was better.
Didn't need some fucking wide receivers.
Yeah, because they paid Odell all that money for Odell to be just
So did you see the thing that was on Twitter? The guy wanted his revenge, so he picked the Ravens against the Steelers, and then the Ravens receivers in bad and were dropping the ball to him.
Yeah. And like Lamar's had a really fucking good year so far. It sucks that like a game like this has to happen. Even though like it's
that one bad interception that he threw,
he was
because
having a good game.
the interception would have happened if the other guys catch the ball in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's always at the end of Steelers Ravens ever since TJ Watt been a part of the team. Like TJ Watt just stops Lamar in the games every time, every fucking time.
Najee Harris is going to lose his job.
Yeah. What I said, Najee Harris.
Yeah, we said that going into the season where they're like, "Oh, Najee Harris is good." We're like, they're trying to replace him.
Najee Harris is Trent Richardson.
He's just took the words right out of my mouth. He
Alabama back then didn't really work out.
He couldn't see holes in Swiss cheese. That's the
he has yards, and then he's just dancing. Go straight. You're a big motherfucker. Go straight.
George Pickens is awesome. Every bit as advertised. That's a bad motherfucker.
The theme of the week: get your motherfuckers on your team the ball. What is the guy? 80 catches, produces. Oh, Matt Canada, fuck you. We're audibling. Go. It's 0. You're the only motherfucker that's upset about you scored a touchdown because it wasn't your play call.
Suck my ass, Matt Canada. Panthers, Lions 42, Panthers 24. This is another one of those teams. This is the team you can't lose to. Like, I forgot to mention them. You cannot lose to this team. You cannot be the one in 1-5.
David Montgomery had a day.
That he did.
They said, I'm on Ross, St. Brown, stay down. We don't need you this week. Jahmyr Gibbs, we don't need you this week. We got it covered. And guess who's probably a front runner for one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year? Is a 2 race for right now. If you stop, is Puka and Sam
CJ Stroud. Well, CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, well CJ Stroud and Sam Laporta, the fucking rookie tight end.
Sam Laporta is the second best tight end in football. Like in a world where the tight end doesn't matter if you're not named Travis Kelce, boy is Sam Laporta coming in and kicking down every door possible. Like, that's a bad motherfucker.
Sam Laporta, the chairman.
That's a bad motherfucker. I like that motherfucker. He is good at football. What I need to see more of is
he was on snap count.
This fella. That right there, J-Mo. I know he's coming back from his suspension and hasn't played, but that's a motherfucker who needs to be on the field. And if their snap counts are anything like Jahmyr Gibbs snap counts, that's dog shit. Because that's my only gripe with Dan Campbell. My only gripe with Dan Campbell is Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't see the football enough.
Well, Jameson Williams also had like a drop in the game where he like totally he thought he was gonna die.
Hospital balls, man. I should really be keeping track of how many of those get thrown.
Well, you can start track in tomorrow's game.
Tomorrow, I already know who leads the league. I already know who leads the league in hospital balls. It's not a surprise. Let's go Texans Falcons. This was a good fucking game.
Well, let me tell you something. Did you know that Desmond Ridder is 30-0 in home games?
Yeah.
And pro. He's never lost a home game.
I heard that because I went to the gym and I went to Target afterwards. I was watching Red Zone on my way home, and that stat got played for me, and I was like, "What?"
He's never lost a home game, and the thing about it is, like, he played really good too.
He played a really good game.
And then last week he was straight dog shit and was on the road. So it's like Oh, so on the road he's gonna play like ass. I'm like,
Bijan's awesome. He didn't have a great game. He had a fumble.
he had a catch in that move or the touchdown where he just caught it basically behind his back.
Fantastic.
Did like a
Again.
crossover, scored a touchdown. With
Again, Bijan's as advertised. He is as awesome as we all thought he was going to be.
Stroud.
CJ Stroud is also the fucking man.
Breaks the record that Dak is demolishing the record that Dak Prescott used to have most attempts without an interception to start a career.
It's unbelievable.
Well,
Kyle Pitts got the ball a lot, which is good to see because I saw a lot of Kyle Pitts slander going into this week, and a lot of bad Kyle Pitts tape as to why Kyle Pitts doesn't get the ball, and it was just a lot of tape of him tripping over himself when he runs routes. Every time he goes to run a route, he goes to cut and he falls. All of that. I was like, well, that's probably a good reason why he doesn't get the football.
Well, we go back to CJ Stroud. The thing about when he was at Ohio State, he never turned the ball over neither.
He didn't. He did not.
He rarely turned the ball over, so he would have like 40 touchdowns, maybe like 3 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, but I was worried about the transition from Ohio State to Houston.
Yeah.
I was really worried about that, but like you kind of already got your left tackle down. Their offensive line is not horrible.
Offensive line is not horrible.
They need some weapons on offense still, because like even though like Tank Dell and all those guys are like solid and they're playing well, you do need a guy.
Yeah, they were finding hard to get open today. CJ Stroud, but his completion percentage is not going to look good because he was throwing the ball away a lot because nobody was getting open, and that was the best decision. Well, he's doing better this week instead of like week 1, as he was holding the ball and not throwing the ball away. He was getting sacked, and now he's just throwing the ball away, letting the defense. And then he had a final drive to go take the lead, and then they left too much time on the board.
Yeah, this Houston Texans team is performing a lot better than I thought they were going to. I thought the lack of weapons was going to really be a problem here, but CJ Stroud's awesome. So, like, you can't get mad at that. And CJ Stroud is also like, Mike talks about this all the time with like Zach Wilson and like the Jets and rookie quarterbacks. He's like, you guys want rookie quarterbacks to be good right away. I'm like, yeah, because I see every other rookie quarterback who comes to the NFL looks good. So it's like, I would love to have that.
It's a big transition. You got to get these guys from these schools, especially when like, you get guys like Josh Allen when they were playing for freaking Wyoming. And he's a dog there. And then you get Zach Wilson at BYU, who always struggled against better competition.
All Zach Wilson did at BYU was just throw the ball 90 yards. That's really all he did.
They weren't playing nobody. And then when they played better
when they played like Coastal Carolina, they would get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, and when he played better competition, he struggled, which what he always showed. That's why I never liked.
He also had a really good offensive line at BYU. Really good offensive line.
You got transition. Like, everything what happens, and you're coming to the NFL where everybody's great. There's a difference between college and NFL. Not everybody's going to play in the NFL. Somebody's going to be doing something else. And that's the difference. As you got professional players all the time, grown men.
Yeah, it went from that. I was like, I would love to have that because I see everybody else do it. Like, I think every draft class since like 2017 has quarterbacks that are just unbelievable in it, except for one, and that you could argue Kyler Murray.
Because some guys
argue Kyler Murray
on now, but some guys you're like, it depends what situation they're in.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you would have told me if I would have gotten Zach Wilson how he's playing right now last year, I would have been fine. I'd be like, this is great. This is fine. I get the improvement that I want. It's just I'm getting it now in year 3 as a backup. Dolphins, Giants. I didn't think the Giants defense was going to pick off Tua twice. I didn't think one of them was going to be a pick 6, giving the Giants their first score in the first quarter of the game all year. And I think it was also like their first like turnover all year, but here we are.
And then They left Tyreek Hill 1-on-1 with a rookie.
I cannot believe Wink Martindale thought it was a great idea to zero blitz.
He's going to zero blitz. He's going to zero blitz.
I get that's your thing, Wink, but read the room. Read the room.
And then, Achan is averaging 12 yards a carry, 12.6 yards a carry.
And he's also tied for the second fastest player in football, behind Tyreek Hill, who Tyreek Hill today became the fastest player recorded on the year with 22 miles per hour run, a half a mile per hour faster than Achan. I just don't understand how Wink Martindale, as good of a defensive coordinator as Wink Martindale is, he could see how the rest of the NFL is covering the Dolphins. You could watch how the Bills cover the Dolphins and be like, man, they did such a good job. I'm not. I'm just not.
2 rookie corners, you're
I'm just not going to give these rookie corners any help.
Throw the ball.
I don't understand it.
You're daring to throw the ball.
I don't understand it. Daniel Jones got the shit kicked out of him, and I think Evan Neal needs to go to jail because Evan Neal is just allowing, this is domestic abuse at this point. He's just allowing Daniel Jones to get the shit kicked out of him.
How do you not block that one guy in that one play everybody's freaking talking about since he's calling people hamburger tossers and hot dog broilers, and then you're about to join him?
You mean this play? Hold on, where is the share?
Literally the only one. Yes. What was that? He took a step towards the. Look at that.
He went and he pushed the right guard to make sure the right guard was blocking somebody. Was that Ngakoue? Oh my.
He took a step.
That's domestic abuse.
What's his name?
How do you allow this to happen?
He took a step towards the right. Then he's push the freaking guard. What are you doing?
And last week he blocked his own, he blocked the tight end. If you're Brian Daboll, how do you play him? How do you, with the best interest of your football teams now? So now Daniel Jones is hurt, right? He may miss a week.
He's been sacked 28 times already.
He may miss some time because he has a neck injury. How do you, with all good conscience, play Evan Neal next week? Who do the Giants have next week?
Worse.
You have the fucking Bills next week. I'm of the believer that they're only playing him because he's a top 10 pick. Not whether he's better or not. I think that's the only reason he's on the field. And not having Andrew Thomas already sucks for this team. But having your right tackle, he's he's the only good offensive lineman they have. And it's not even like your right tackle's a turnstile. Your right tackle's a doorman. Hello. It's not even you're just pushing it down and moving along. He's just oh, welcome to the hotel. How are you?
He's a bullfighter.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for the Giants, but I sympathize, if you understand what I'm saying, because I know it's just it's just the same thing. But I think Daniel Jones stinks.
Yes.
I do not like that he doesn't have a chance.
But the way he's getting hit and sacked, he's earning that freaking contract.
Yeah, because that contract's all the guaranteed money's going straight to medical bills.
You need that money for medical.
Like, I don't know how you. Like, how do you coach this team? I think the worst thing for the Giants was making the playoffs last year.
Yes, that was
The worst thing for the Giants was making the playoffs last year and beating that Minnesota team. Because now the Giants players, the Giants organization, and Giants fans had expectations. And the worst thing in sports are expectations.
And what did I say? It all matters who you play. And what did we say? They had an easy schedule last year when they basically swept the AFC South. They swept the NFC North. That was 8 wins right there.
They were able to beat the teams they were better than. There's not many teams they're better than. Me and Mike went through the rest of their schedule, and I was like, I don't know how you guys make it to 5. If that. Because this is a loss.
Remember, you guys thought they were a playoff team, and I'm like, they got 5 wins.
So, like, you already count the Dolphins as a loss, so they're at 4 losses. This is 5 losses. You're probably going to split the commies. If the Jets play the way they played today against them, there's another loss.
They can beat the Raiders.
They could beat the Raiders, but Max Crosby's going to sack Daniel Jones 10 times by himself. So this could be a loss. We know this is going to be a loss.
They can beat the Patriots.
Split.
They have the better Jones.
They have the better Jones, but if Bill Belichick does that thing he does to young quarterbacks where he just beats the shit out of them and just says, especially with how bad their offensive line is, this can also be a loss. But again, McCorkle probably won't be the quarterback here. This will probably be Malik Cunningham at this point. Like, this is a hard schedule. So
Eagles,
it's going to be difficult.
Eagles, yeah. Well, Eagles is a double loss. The Rams, that's a loss. The Saints, that's a loss.
Packers is a toss up.
The Packers, it depends if Aaron Jones is there or not.
So there's and if Daniel Jones isn't going to play football, and you have to rely on Tyrod Taylor. Like, Tyrod Taylor's not bad, but like, he's going to die too. Like, if you're Dable, you can't play Evan Neal. That's the long and short of it. You cannot play Evan Neal anymore. After the comments he made about the fans and him getting booed, and then just play. You cannot play him anymore.
Those comments and then
go out and continue to just suck.
Put that on the field.
Like,
by the way, the Dolphins without Jalen Phillips, it's not like
I called for the Jalen Phillips breakout game today, and he didn't even play, and I still think he might have gotten a sack.
Oh, he probably would have had. Oh, yeah, he would have had 2 or 3.
Jalen Phillips would have had fucking 15 sacks today by himself. It would have been that game you wait for, where it's like, hey, that guy we drafted like 2 years ago, he's good, but this is the game where it's like, oh shit, you see how good he can be, and then he gets the juice to go into the rest of the season and just be like, all right, no, I'm that fucking guy. This could have been that game, but they still got it. They still got him. The weakness of this Dolphins team is their defense and their offensive line, and their defense looked fantastic today. So it's like, well, there you go. You have a bad defense, play the Giants.
Yeah, bad defense. Oh, you have shit. Yeah, you can't cover nobody. The Giants have nobody to run route. You can't open. It's a fair matchup.
Can't cover. You need help on defense, play the Giants. You need help on offense, play the fucking Broncos. That's just how it is there. Bengals Cardinals. We got the first Joe Burrow appearance of the year.
Keeping up with the theme of, I got this guy on my team. Let me get him the ball. Yeah, I'm going to throw Jamar Chase 15 catches.
192, 3 tutters.
3 tutters.
And the crazy thing about it is the Bengals are 2-3. They're only 1 game out. They're only 1 game back in the division. That whole AFC North is just a fight. It's just a bar fight.
Still alive. My Super Bowl pick is still alive.
The Cardinals are doing a great job of being a competitive bad team.
They hang around, but then Josh Dobbs had a real bad game at the end of it.
The Cardinals are doing a great job of possibly convincing Caleb Williams that this place is functional. They're doing a great job of that. Because and they're about to put Kyler on the IR for the rest of the year. Like they're about to be like, yeah, you're done here, pal. We're just gonna move on. Meanwhile, their head coach, the most awkward human being I've ever seen in my life, when he met Kyler Murray, he's like, "Dap it up, man. Yeah, you're in the gym. Okay, yeah, cool, man. I'll see you. Yeah." Joe Burrow's awesome. He looked really good today. This just seems like one of those things where it's like, hey, bad game.
Wasn't a lot, but 25 carries. Yeah, let's start.
Needs to happen. Like, it's amazing that you could carry the ball 25 times and still throw the ball 40. Like, you can do it, Tennessee Titans. You can do it, New England Patriots. Hand the ball off.
They need to get either line up a pistol. If they don't want to, if his calf's still bad, that it can't be under center, or at least line up a pistol more.
Yeah.
It's easier to
get the game going.
Hit the full speed. As a center next to him in a shotgun.
Who the Bengals play next? Seahawks. Okay. So we got another game where it's like the Seahawks defense isn't as good as the Giants made them look. So we have another one of those games where it's like Joe Burrow could possibly sit there and actually like have another good game and look like he was recovered. Eagles Rams. Jalen Hurts had a nasty interception that was underthrown. I was like, and then he proceeded to get fucking killed by Sirianni on the sidelines. But
sideline because the corner made an adjustment because of earlier in the game, pass interference on an underthrown ball, and the Eagles they just keep winning no matter how ugly it is. Stafford missed like 2 throws that were touchdowns. One to Tutu Atwell, and then one to Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp, the Rams' offense is raping these corners for the Eagles. But they just somehow keep finding ways to win. They just win. It's annoying. Like, this team is so lucky. Like, they can play like absolute shit and win. It doesn't make no sense at all.
Well, it's not about how you win. It's the fact that you win, right? And you're in these bar fights. You're in these nasty wins, and you still get it done. That's ultimately like the testament to how good a football team is. It's you got to get it done.
Hurts running the ball, and then the Rams. I'm like, don't deliver a hit. You got to wrap this dude up. He's a running back. Delivering a hit is just
Matt Stafford off rip was doing that thing he does that nobody could just stop, where he just stares Cooper Kupp in the face and you can't do anything about it. I said immediately, I was like, man, he already loves Puka Nacua. Now that he's got his guy back, he's just going to not know who to throw to. But like, I'm looking forward to seeing how this offense gels going forward with all of their weapons back. It's just their defense is so sus, man.
Defense going to get off the field. Aaron Donald was
not in
this game.
But again, it's one of those things where it's like, that's a Hall of Fame offensive line. Yeah. One guy's not going to beat them. It's not like this is the Giants here, where Aaron Donald will be able to beat all 5 of them by himself. Like, it's not them. This is a real big boy offensive line. You have 3 Hall of Famers on your line. It's going to happen. But shout out to fucking AJ Brown. AJ Brown had another fucking awesome game. That dude just balling. Dallas Goedert also like breakout game of the year. It's probably the only one the tight end's going to have, but fucking awesome game for him too.
Devontae Smith getting mad because he wasn't getting the ball because the other 2 were eating. Like,
when are these Eagle receivers just going to be cool with what's going on when you're winning fucking football games? Like, why are we acting like that?
They're just getting mad on the sideline. Like, what are you doing? Okay, here's the thing. They have so many weapons. They ain't going to be there that long because you paid Jalen Hurts. You paid A.J. Brown.
Devontae's a first-round pick, so he's got 2 more years. Because what Devontae was the Zach Wilson draft, right? Yeah, Jamar Chase. Yeah, so Zach is in year 3. He's in year 3. So, yeah, he's got 2 more years with the 5th-year option. By that time, who are you going to let go? You're going to let go A.J. Brown or you're going to keep Devontae Smith? Because you're not going to be able to keep them both. But by that time, their whole offensive line will have retired, so they'll have a bunch of money. Their whole offensive line, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox will all be retired.
Put Slade back on the trade block after this game. He was getting cooked so bad.
Yeah, so 2 years, you'll have Darius Slay, probably won't be on the team. James Bradbury probably won't be on the team. Jason Kelsey will be retired. Lane Johnson will be retired. Fletcher Cox will be retired. And Brandon Graham will be retired. But don't worry, the rest of the University of Georgia Bulldogs will be on the team on defense, so they'll be all right. Jets Broncos. Fuck Sean Payton. This one was for Nathaniel Hackett because Sean Payton, one, should be embarrassed. Again, I will say this every week the Broncos play football, that Sean Payton should be embarrassed after coming out saying, oh, Nathaniel Hackett did the worst head coaching job, arguably the worst head coaching job in NFL history with the way he handled his team, blah, 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 blah. You have allowed 122 points in 3 games.
People are going to start losing jobs. You're going to Russell Wilson is about to be benched.
Russell Wilson already was he was getting booed off the field because the second half, outside of like the last 5 minutes, they had 10 yards total offense.
Yeah, they had 1 yard passing going in the fourth quarter
because he got sacked like 3
1 yard of offense entering the fourth quarter. Their offense plays good in the first half, and then the second half it just collapses. Listen, like not there.
Robert Saleh had a really good quote after the game in his press conference where he was saying in the first half they were beating us a lot short with screens and the quarterback run. And then he said, I need to make sure I say this correctly. We needed to make sure that Russell played quarterback, and we did exactly that. And for him to say something like that is like, wow, that's really a shot. It's like, oh, if you keep Russell Wilson in the pocket, you know you're going to be fine. Bad. Because what happened? They let Russ sit in the pocket, and he got killed.
Sean Payton cussing out Russell Wilson on the sideline on that fumble. Like, well.
There was that last drive of the game. So, one, shout out to Pat Surtain because that interception was retarded. Like, that was an incredible play where I slowed down the interception and then it's a bunch of guys on Twitter zoomed in on it. That's a good throw. That ball was right in Garrett Wilson's breadbasket. That was a good throw. This dude with his outside hand ended up scooping it up and just falling with it in his legs. Like, that's an unbelievable play. So kudos to him. I'll be the first person to shit on Zach Wilson when he throws a fucking shitty interception. That was a good throw. That's just a great play by Surtain.
The Broncos are on a fire sale. Everything must go.
I think the only person who's not on the sale is Surtain.
They know there's one person they can't get rid of. Well, they're going to have to listen to offers for Surtain if they get his only bright spot on this whole fucking team. They can't get rid of Russell Wilson. Nobody wants that contract.
Nope.
And
you can get rid of Judy. Sutton was missing a lot in the second half. They just kept taking him off the field.
Yeah, and another thing about their receivers always get hurt.
The receivers always get hurt, and then they just hate it there.
And Judy, Tim Patrick, they all rotate.
Tim Patrick is just a human who doesn't play.
Fucking 3-4 years. None of them, all in rotation. Like, always get hurt. And you know what? Here's the thing: the Broncos' offense in the first half is good, and then the second half, on every game. It's like just swan dives down.
Well, the first half was just the Jets do this thing where they'll get beat underneath, right? You're not going to beat them on the deep play, but you'll get your yards underneath. And the defensive line is so aggressive for the pass rush that they don't stop to see what's going on there. And like it's the give and take of the game. You're going to do that. You have to sacrifice something. You sacrifice your underneath so you don't get killed deep. You got to make sure you have your guys come up, make the tackle. The problem is a lot in the first half, too many missed tackles. Offensive line, like outside of the interception, which again was not like he couldn't have put the ball in a better spot, to be honest. But the offensive line was the problem here. Every time we would move forward, the offensive line brought us right back with some shitty penalty. We lost Elijah Vera Tucker in Denver again. Becton goes out 2 different times, but Steven is a big proponent of this. You want to get your offensive line going? Run the fucking football.
Yeah.
Breece Hall had a fucking game.
Theme of the week.
Get your guys the ball.
Breece Hall had 22 touches.
177 yards, a 72-yard touchdown. We need to get this guy the ball more. Last week, we did a great job getting Garrett the ball. We need to get him the ball more. And he made another awesome catch in this game.
So what Daniel Hackett needs to get ready to do, and now he's seeing what Zach feels comfortable with now. Design plays for Wilson and Conklin. And
that's it. And then Lazard will get his 2 to 3 targets.
Sprinkle the run in there. Then Wilson, Conklin, sprinkle more run in there. Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson, Tyler Conklin.
Like we're seeing, like again, Zach played fine. Zach played fine today. This is the Zach Will. If I get this Zach Wilson every week, this is now week 2 of me saying this. If I get this Zach Wilson every week, I will be fine because we're not losing games because of him. There was too many circumstances that led to this like point. One, on 4th and 1 where we kicked the field goal, we should have went for it. Like these are the things that we do, but I understand why you go ahead and you take the points. We don't practice the tush push, so fine, whatever. But eventually you got to go for it. There needs to be more second down play actions, more first down play actions, because there's too many opportunities. Stop putting Dalvin Cook on the field. Sorry, he sucks. Dalvin Cook is washed. He cannot get past a first tackler at all, whether it's a corner or anything. They touch him, he folds like a table. It sucks. Yeah, he had the best game he's had as a Jet, but like that's not really saying much because all of his other carries have been so bad. But coming off of halftime, and it was like immediately, all right, cool, run the ball. It was really good seeing that a defense didn't come up stacking the box immediately.
Yeah,
fun. But we need to score touchdowns. That's the long and short of it. Jets need to score touchdowns. If they want to have any chance going forward with any of these games outside of this tough stretch, because we have Philly next week, we need to score touchdowns.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage. You know what he feels comfortable with. You gotta run. Breece Hall needs like 20 touches again. Get him in the pass game, and design plays for Conklin and Garrett Wilson.
He's off the pitch count now, and we saw it firsthand. Where it's like, all right, cool, just keep giving him the ball. Where it's like week 1 against the Bills, he had like 9 carries for like 120. And like every so often he gets these yards. He gets so many just chunk gains because he's so fucking good.
He needs to get until Dalvin Cook can prove that he's gonna
be worthy of carries. Breece all the way. You only put Breece in when it's like he needs a gasp of air. But the only reason I would, if you're going to put Dalvin in the game, don't run with him.
Yeah.
Use him in the passing game. That's why it's like, all right, cool. Put Dalvin in on that second down. Run play action. There was too many circumstances in this game where it's like, yo, you know what would have fucking been sick here now that the box is stacked? Play action. Because he wants to hit Conk and he wants to get the ball to Garrett. We need to do that. And shout out to Xavier Gibson, even though he had a couple nasty fumbles on special teams, when he was in the game, all he did was just go in motion. That's all he did. He just went in motion and they handed the ball off. Now teams are going to expect him. He's like, one of these plays, this motherfucker's going to get the ball. One of these plays, Xavier Gibson's going to get the ball, and we have to be ready for it. So let's see. They bunch formation. Garrett, Lazard, Gibson, put him out there. I loved Randall Cobb was not on the field a lot. Thank God. Thank God.
Put faster guys in the field.
McCole Hardman still was healthy scratch today because they just don't know how to use him. I don't get it. He'll probably be traded. Him and Carl Lawson will probably be traded soon because Carl Lawson just can't stay healthy and doesn't do anything when he's there. So, and Jermaine Johnson and Bryce Huff are just ballers. So, we move. Good win for the Jets. The Hackett Bulls won. Sean Payton needed dick. Chiefs Vikings. You have no idea how far my heart dropped when I watched Travis Kelce go down in the first half. Because it's between the Jets getting ran up on and the way our halftime ended where Zach completed that pass to Uzama before he could get out of bounds and we just couldn't spike the ball because everybody took their fucking time. And then Travis Kelce goes down. I was on suicide watch. I was ready. I was pouring the bleach in the cup. I was ready. Because, man.
Non-contact injuries on turf.
Get grass.
Swifties can get them to change to all grass fields soon.
If he would have tore his ACL because of turf, and he says it on the podcast, they would have flipped. I'm interested in seeing because Anthony's a big like Taylor Swift is changing the way NFL looks at stuff. Blah blah blah. The ratings. La 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 la. I'm very interested in seeing what the ratings were when Taylor Swift was not at this game, because I'm convinced if Swift's not on TV, the fans are nowhere to be found. Because he said, "Oh, Sunday Night Football was the most watched Sunday Night Football of all time with Chiefs Jets."
Of all time?
Or was it who was it last week?
I want to say of all time.
No, it was like yeah, along those lines, and it was the views were still down 4 million from the Chiefs Bears game. So I was like, so yeah, Sunday Night Football had great viewership, whatever, but it still was less than the Bears game. So 4 million less people gave a fuck. He was like, no, it's still record setting. I was like, do you think the ratings for Cowboys Niners are going to stay the same or go up? And he's like, oh, it's not. It's got to be gradual. I was like, because I think the ratings are going to go down. When Taylor Swift's not on TV, they're going to go down.
The most rated team, so they get the most watch. All their games are the highest rated.
Yeah, but
Cowboys
it's not good. Cowboys Niners, but the way that game was, people stopped watching.
Yeah.
So the ratings are going to plummet. No Swifty's going to stick around for that. Travis Kelce's not on the field. They refer to him as our boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. Patrick Mahomes is awesome. Travis Kelce's awesome. Justin Jefferson got hurt with his hamstring and is probably going to miss a couple weeks.
Back on a Hail Mary attempt. So it's like the last play for Kirk Cousins is he really does something like that's it's totally stupid. Like throw a 3-yard pass on 4th and 10 or a Hail Mary. I'm just going to take. I'm not going to chuck it up. I'm going to take a sack. TJ Hawkinson probably. I think he committed a crime.
Yeah.
Highway robbery.
Yeah, because he sucks.
He pulled the bank heist, ladies and gentlemen.
He is not Laporta. The Lions won that trade. Always gotta
think about interdivisional trades. If they want to, why would they trade inside a division?
I would just like to point out that the Barreto Boys were right about the Vikings.
again.
Because the football gods are not being kind to them in one-score games this year. Not being kind to them in one-score games this year, as they were last year. What was it, 11-0 last year?
Yeah, 11-0.
This team sucks.
Their defense is terrible. Their offense has a fumbling problem. It's like everybody on their fucking offense fumbles. A new guy I haven't even heard of fumble today. I'm like,
They can't establish the run. Like this team's just going to come out and pass. They can't establish the run. It's not even like what the Chiefs do, where the Chiefs pass to set up the run. They're like, we got to keep everybody back, and then out of the shotgun, you have back draws Pacheco and just keep it moving. Like I just don't get this team.
The Vikings fumbling, and then they traded for Cam Akers, who's
a fumbler.
I'm like, oh my god, how many fumbles do the Vikings have on the year? And they've lost the most fumbles too. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't even blame Kirk Cousins.
This staff is going to get fired. This whole staff is going to get fired. And Justin Jefferson refusing to sign an extension until he figures out what's up with Kirk Cousins. Allegedly. Even though he's cussing Kirk Cousins up and down the fucking field all the time.
He's keeping it. He really did. At least Diggs didn't hide that he hated Kirk. He did not hide that shit.
Well, Justin Jefferson also doesn't, but he puts on a front because on the field he hates him.
Yeah, on the field he hates him, and he's like he loves him. And then he put up that Instagram last week. He fucking hates Kirk Cousins.
I'll never forget his rookie year where he was wide the fuck open. The ball sails him and he just starts screaming, "God damn it, Kirk!" Or the one where he just didn't throw him the ball. Throw me the fucking ball, Kirk.
Because the Vikings are in play.
They are. There's a lot of teams in play.
Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
Did you watch the USC game or were you sleeping?
I was asleep.
He played some of the worst football I've ever seen from him in his college career. And then he had a play on the QB sneak. I don't know if you saw this play.
No.
Where he went in for the tush push, rolls off of the offensive line. The defensive end grabs him, and then he trucks through and dives forward to cross the end zone.
I'm still recovering from a game I thought my team had won.
Oh, my God. That was...
And then I woke up to go to work early this morning at like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting in my car at 6. And I'm like, what do you mean Miami lost? The game's over. I'm going to sleep. Oh, no.
Fire everybody at Miami. Fire everyone.
Hire Ed Reed. You cannot lose. You just ruin. Why? What are we doing?
Fire everyone.
The knee. They pulled a Brandon. They didn't take a knee. Take the knee. They could not stop the clock. You didn't need a first down. It was
game's over.
Was over if you take a knee, and you can't come out as a head coach and say, "I should have talked to the offense coordinator to take a knee."
I also saw something I don't think I've ever seen this before. There was another play in that USC game where USC punted the ball. And as the ball is coming to a stop, all of the USC gunners grabbed the return man to try to get a return.
Is that
no? So apparently what would happen is if they forced him to touch the ball, it wouldn't have mattered.
I saw that on Twitter. I'm like, that's pretty good. Is that even legal? I never thought of that way. Is that even legal?
Right? I said the same thing. I was like, why has nobody else ever tried this?
Yeah, I'm like, why?
Like, it's amazing to me that nobody else has ever tried this before.
Like, nobody else, because I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Here's the thing about Lincoln Riley. He doesn't recruit defensive players. He recruits quarterbacks and wide receivers. We get on wide receivers and we get a quarterback.
He just wants to score the football.
That's why Oklahoma, they got Brett Venables, be their head coach. They're completely right. All he does, guess what? The defense does.
Won the game.
Get ready to join the SEC. I need defense.
Get him! Get him!
Is that a penalty? What is that? Those sportsmanlike conduct. Let's give it.
It's not a penalty. It just acts as it. So if he would have touched the ball, it would have been the same as if USC just picked it up.
Oh, okay.
So it wouldn't have made a difference. It's just the fact that they just jumped him. He just kidnapped him to make that play. I saw that live and I was just like, that's a great idea.
I know about you.
There's no way Lincoln Riley's that much of an innovator to make it like that a big deal. Like, that's awesome if that's true. No, Baker was on McAfee before he was on College Game Day. And they were talking about how Lincoln Riley just doesn't recruit defense. Yeah. And Baker just goes, he just cares about scoring the football. That's why they struggle on the other side.
Yeah.
Trying to put it just perfectly so he doesn't offend nobody. Where it's just like, yeah, he should probably do that, but who knows? He only has just like, I don't know, 4 Heisman candidates under his belt. Heisman winners.
There's no rings.
No rings, but hey, all of his quarterbacks are candidates or winners of the Heisman. Because even though Jalen didn't win, Jalen Hurts was a candidate that year.
Yeah. There's a difference between Bob Stoops still recruited defensive guys when he took over. I'm like, man, Link Riley's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, this sucks. This sucks. I want to throw the football.
Clemson is that's hurting Clemson because they used to get defensive guys, and Brett Venables is the coach of Oklahoma, so you gotta get rid of it on the SEC.
Well, we've reached that point, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for all the watchers and listeners. This has been, we are the Barreto Boys. We are here. We are your favorite part and the favorite start of your week to recap your Sunday NFL slate with you for October 9th in the year of our Lord 2023. I'm Podcast Poppy. I'm Dylan Barreto. This is the Sand Viper, Stephen Barreto. We are out of here.